Anybody else? Give me an example of a goal which motivates you.
Getting married.
Getting married. All right. Max motivation there, boy. Huh? And what's your time frame like? What's your time frame like? So usually when you're setting goals, you look for things that excite you, that inspire you. I think you probably need to look at getting that done within the next year, right? Something like that. So set a reasonable time frame to get that done. Actually, that was one of the best decisions I ever made, to get married. When you find the right partner, then they will motivate you to go further as well. Alhamdulillah. Right? I still have a smile today on my face because I met the right person. Right? Alhamdulillah. I'm telling all the fellas that, and I'm telling all the young girls that. If you find somebody who is right, you will always be happy. Alhamdulillah. No regret. Right? Now, in terms of goals, you also need to look at a goal which will stretch you, meaning it would inspire you to go further than you ever went before. All right? How many of you all have a goal which will do that for you all? To the back? Yes? What's your goal, ma'am? Learning Arabic as a language. What kind of time frame are you giving yourself to do that?
2 years.
About 2 years?
I'm not like real fluent, but I'm
To understand it, right. All right. So whatever goal you have, it needs to stretch you to do something you never did before. And I'll share with you all, the big goal I had was to build this corporate center. I had not a clue in construction. Although I had family in construction, I had not a clue. When I first started, I was actually going to build that building modular. What I meant by that is, my thinking was what? I build like a portion here, so I have a structure here, and then I build a structure somewhere else, and then another structure. But especially when you're out to set goals, what you should do is talk to the best people in the field. Talk to the people who are knowledgeable on that particular matter and get experience. You all there? You're going to save yourself a ton of time. When I started talking to people and I started to talk to construction people, everybody gave the same advice, and which was build one structure and occupy a portion. So I had to change the design to meet that. The overall goal was the same, but the approach to actually accomplishing it would have been a little bit different. All right? So stretch yourself by taking on a challenge, something which you haven't done before. The other thing with goals is you will have competing goals in life. So for example, somebody wanted to get married and probably start a family right after. All right? Somebody else may have a goal of furthering themselves in their career. Somebody else, or maybe the same person, would have a goal of getting closer in their relationship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So you will have many, many goals, and some of them will be completing or conflicting. Anybody could give me an example of a conflicting goal? What goal could conflict with another goal you may have? You could have multiple goals, and it's fine. You have many different facets to life. Anybody? Give me an example of a conflicting goal. Go ahead.
To have a family life. Your goal is to have a family life, but at the same time, probably you want to travel the world.
That could be a conflicting goal. You need to have a lot of finances there. You need to have some stability with your children because you want them to go to school and classes and whatnot. So there could be, that would be a challenge. Similar like me, when I was younger, I didn't have any I shouldn't say that, but I didn't have an eye for getting married at that time. The goal that I had primarily was to advance in career earlier on, I just saying. All right, so I mean, looking back, there would have been a serious conflict if I had been married and then trying to work these kind of ridiculous hours to advance in career. Sometimes it could be a little bit challenging. You all there? So there are these goals and there are competing goals. You need to be aware that in terms of choosing your goals, you need to have some idea in terms of setting them so that you don't have competing goals to deal with. All right? Now, in terms of setting goals, one of the key things that they talk about in setting goals is this whole principle of what they call SMART. They have different acronyms. There's another one called SMARTer. There are other acronyms that they use, but this is a traditional one that most people are familiar with. Anybody could tell me what SMART stands for? Sorry? Your goal should be what? What does the S stand for? Specific. So the more clarity you have around what your goal is, the better you're going to be able to crystallize that goal into reality. If you're not clear, if you're very wishy-washy, then you're not really likely to be too successful. So an example of a general goal might be something like, I would like to complete my education in 5 years. A more specific goal would be something like what? I would like to complete a chemical engineering degree within the next 3 years. You all there? Something like that. So you need to be very specific and clear about what it is you want to accomplish. Right? My advice to you all is write down your goals and find some way to visualize your goal. People who are able to visualize your goal usually achieve it much faster than other people. And in all these things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would help you and guide you. So like with me, right, it was real easy to build a building. My office was upstairs, home where I sat, right? So I was always watching that building go up every day. So every day, I had a drive to do it. I need to get this done, that done, the other done, the other done. You all there? To get that building up and running. So I'm just saying, that's just a way to visualize. You need to have a way to visualize it. So write it down. As you get stuff done, you need to take it off and move on to the other stuff that you need to get done in order to accomplish your goal. Right? In terms of writing down your goal, you always need to look at like stuff like who, what, why, where, when, stuff like that. And what that would help you to do is to kind of crystallize your goal in terms of what you need to get done. The second thing with goals, the M stands for what? Measurable. And measurable means what? In terms of the ability to look at the progress, right? Gauge, you need to be able to gauge how successful you are in accomplishing the goal. What is your percentage completion? You all there? What is your percentage completion? How much work do I have to do still to accomplish that goal? You need to be able to establish that. The other thing is, there's an A in it which stands for what? Attainable. And attainable means what? Whatever goals you set, it shouldn't be something which is? It should be something which has a bit of reality to it. Right? So you're not going to say that I want to get fit, and so I want to spend 6 hours in the gym every day. Right? It's going to impact on the other things that you need to get done. Your other goals like family, work, career, education, etc. You all there? So whatever goals you set, you need to make sure that there is that objective of attainability. You're not going to put something like, I would like to earn $10 million in a month's time or something like that. That wouldn't be realistic, you all there, in terms of a financial goal. All right? Everything takes time. You want to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so I want to learn out the Quran within the next 2 months. By heart. Possible? Some very bright people, it's probably possible. Right? Not for me and not for probably most of the people in the room. It would take a little bit more time than that to actually get into the memorization. All right, so what would the R stand for? Well, they have different, some people say realistic, but we already talk about attainable. In the context that we look at it here, some people say resource as well. But the R here, as I have it, the R stands for relevant. Relevant, you all there? It must be meaningful to you. If a goal is not meaningful to you, you are not going to accomplish it. And why? Because the first or the second time some challenge happens, you're going to give up. You all there? If you don't believe in it, things will happen. Right? So that's relevance. It must be relevant, meaningful, and interesting to you. The last one is timeliness. Right? So any goal is time-bound You need to put a time frame within which you're going to actually get that thing done. So that's the SMART principle in relation to setting your goals. Just in terms of achieving goals, right? A goal by itself is not sufficient to propel you to get the success that you would want. You all there? A goal by itself is not sufficient. What you actually need to do is crystallize the goals into plans. These are the specific steps that I'm going to take, and this is what I need to do to get the goal that I have done, and this is the date by which I'm going to actually get those steps done. You all there? So if you have no plan, then any which way is good. You all there? You could have goals, but you need to make your goals into plans. Define the things that you're actually going to do to actually accomplish that goal. Right? Where most people fail is this second one here. It's not just about determination, but it's about focused determination. So once you have these plans, these are the things that I actually need to get done. Then you need to do what? Focus on each thing, get that done, move on to the next thing, move on to the next thing. You all there? So you need to focus on whatever it is that you have to do to accomplish your goals. A lot of people jump from this, they jump into that, and then they jump into something else. So things never really get done. You all there? You need to have focused determination to actually get your goals done. The best people, the most successful people tend to be very focused on whatever it is they want to do, whatever they want to achieve.